to the Business of Data show. Today we will be joined by Minna Kärhä from Finnair and Allison Sagraves from M&T Bank. Hello there, my name is Catherine. I'm the Content and Community Manager here within the Business of Data team at Kärhä, and it is a pleasure to have you joining us today. Driven by our global connected network, Kärhä inspires data and analytics senior leaders to drive efficiency and innovation and follow proven paths to success. And the Business of Data show is just one of the many formats that we showcase thought-leading insights from senior data and analytics executives. In each episode, we'll discuss the latest industry news and research and explore the hottest topics, challenges and opportunities. And on that note, we'd love to hear from you. If you have thoughts, questions, or perhaps a topic you'd like us to cover in future episodes, please do email them over to us at thebod@kärhägroup.com. With all of that covered, let's dive right into today's episode. Today, we are talking all about leading a data-driven COVID-19 recovery. 2020 was a year like no other. Hurricanes, wildfires, civil unrest, and of course, the COVID-19 pandemic causing unprecedented and global disruption. Business resilience plans were tested, digitalization projects were accelerated, and data-focused executives found themselves faced with a soaring demand for data-driven insights. Now, as the business world starts to prepare for post-pandemic recovery, we ask, what are the key lessons data and analytics leaders learned over the past 12 months? How have those events changed perceptions around data and analytics within their organization? How have their long-term strategies been affected? And what are their new priorities moving forward? Up next, joining me from Finland is Minna Kärhä, who is the Data and Analytics Lead for Finnair. Hi Minna, it's lovely to have you joining us today.
Hello, thanks for having me. Nice to be here.
Brilliant. Minna, I'm going to jump straight into the questions here. So I would love for you, if you could, to share your experiences of working at an airline throughout the pandemic with us. And further on from that is, how did COVID-19 business disruption affect your role in the projects you were working on?
Yeah, it sure has been a unique year for us, and this is definitely something that we haven't faced like ever before. The traveling obviously quite dramatically ended or dropped towards the end of Q1 this year, and during the Q2 we actually operated approximately 3% of our total capacity, so that gives the scale of the impact. And obviously it was not just reduced need for flying for passengers, but we also had to process huge amount of refunds because we had to basically cancel the planned flights. So during February and June, we paid over 270 million euros to customers back as refunds for simply flights cancelled due to COVID-19. And just to give some scale on that, during the 4 months, we received as many refunds requests as we normally do in 3 years. So it was a huge volume that our teams had to process, and all credits to them and also to our digital capabilities that enabled us to automate part of that process and really manage to process all of those. And then maybe the third thing, obviously the situation still continues, so we have had to ground quite a lot of our aircrafts, and actually at the moment we have flown some of those bigger aircrafts that we simply cannot use now because the reduced demand, and they are now resting in south of France during the winter, because obviously the winter in Finland is quite heavy, and they are not planned to be grounded the whole winter. So they are now enjoying their time in south of France, and hopefully there will be work for them later this next spring.
Absolutely. I think what's really interesting to me, Minna, is how when we decided the different themes for the episodes of the Business of Data show, how actually many of the thought leaders we've had on, their answers spread across lots of different themes, and really interesting that you touched on digital transformation there, and actually how that enabled a lot of the challenges that you experienced in the COVID-19 first wave of the challenges it presented, and how that helped you as well. Now, my second question to you, Minna, is around some research that we recently conducted, and it shows that 98% of enterprises accelerated their cloud migrations in response to COVID-19 of those we surveyed, and 64% say they are at least 2 years ahead of where they would be otherwise. What sort of innovations have you been accelerating at Finnair?
Well, obviously, even during this time that we really had to scale our operations and scale our organization to match the current business, and as we are doing a lot of loss at the moment, we had to rescale, but we still have continued the digitalization projects. So we have implemented as planned new tools, and also the use of data has been significantly important for us. At the same time, I think what has been really delighting to see is that our businesses have been able to build new opportunities from the assets that we have. So one good example is that we are known from our signature drink, which is a blueberry juice, and we also have a kitchen in the Helsinki airport where our own chefs are normally preparing food for our flights. And in this situation where we are not able to serve the blueberry juice, we are not able to serve the meals on our flights, we have still been able to utilize those assets, and we have actually developed a new concept. So we are currently selling our meals in supermarkets in Finland, and that has been a huge success. So we started with one supermarket, but now we have spread it up to total 16 across Finland, and it's a very huge success, and that is something that came out from the fact that we have the assets, we have the skills, and just using them in a new way in this situation has enabled us to build something new. And maybe the other innovation from the business side is that although passengers have not been flying, we still have a lot of cargo to transport, and we have actually now flown cargo-only flights, which we haven't done that much before, and we even changed some of our bigger planes into cargo-only planes by removing the seats from the cabin and being able to pack salmon and other goods there as well, and that has increased the capacity as well, and that's also a thing. And then maybe the third and the newest thing that goes back a bit more closer to the digitalization as well, that since we are not really able to promote or sell much flights to our customers this year, we are taking our customers to the skies virtually. So we are currently selling 8 special trips to the Arctic Cycle and to see Santa and his workshop. And those virtual holiday flights are available in our Finnair shop, and all the profits will go to UNICEF fund to help children impacted by the pandemic. So we are still able to do something fun and something new to our customers, even though physically they are not able to travel.
Super. Well, it certainly sounds like you and your team have been quick to the march of innovation and really grabbing any opportunity. I mean, from supermarkets through to Santa on Zoom. I mean, that's a pretty different position than you probably thought you would be in this time last year. But my last question to you, Minna, is how do the data teams fit into those innovations? So when the business comes to you and says, right, we can't do the blueberry juice on the flights anymore, but we're going to put them into the supermarkets. How did you embrace that innovation, and what were you ready to do to get involved in that project?
Yeah, I would say in general, it's really about working together in the daily innovation and daily operations. So basically helping our colleagues in other teams to find the data, find the insights from the data. And definitely our focus has now been more on very short term and kind of finding alternative plans, alternative opportunities, and then choosing the best one to fit. So it's maybe it's more like focusing on the ad hoc, which then really requires the advanced analytics and data skills, and then working really hand by hand with the other teams to provide that insight for them.
Brilliant. And I mean, Minna, what a fantastic conversation to have, especially as this episode is all about being data driven. The examples you've given there are absolutely gold standard for using data to empower those innovations. So thank you so much for joining me today. Brilliant. I always love chatting to Minna, a really big fan of the business of data, and we are a big fan of her as well. Now, our second guest for today's Business of Data show joins me all the way from Buffalo, New York. Please join me in welcoming Allison Sagraves, who is the Senior Vice President and New Normal Lead for M&T Bank.
Nice to see you.
Hi, Allison. It's great to have you on. And I mean, I was so excited that you were wanting to be on the show because you are the first ever New Normal Lead that I have spoken to. So that's exciting. And I assume by having this job title in the data analytics space that post-COVID recovery is a large focus for you and the bank. But what does this new role entail? Tell me a bit about it. And would you recommend that other companies have this new normal role in their ranks?
Yes, I think a lot of companies do have this role. They may call it something different, but handling the pandemic, first of all, getting our employees, many of them working from home, as many companies did. We have a lot of remote workers, but on the other hand, we also have hundreds of branches, and so we have hundreds of thousands of employees who come to work every day to serve customers. So it's truly a tremendous mobilization to keep a bank running. Banks are, I often say there's the frontline health workers who are on the front line of the health the health aspect of COVID. Banks are really on the front line of the economy, supporting our customers in every possible way with credit, with liquidity. So we need to be there for our customers in their time of need. And so to operate an institution of 17,000+ people, hundreds of locations, hundreds of branches across the country, as well as in Europe, we need a coordinated effort to ensure that our employees are safe, our customers are safe, their needs are being met. We're innovating. We're being able to do things digitally that perhaps we didn't do before to enable customers to do business. So there are so many aspects that we had to pivot quickly in order to, keep our servicing our customers and keep people safe. That's why we created this role.
Super. And I mean, it's really interesting to me what you said at the top of your point there, that pretty much every organization probably has someone who's doing this type of work. But I think what's really interesting, particularly about your bank, is actually having it in name. It's there. It's being represented that we're thinking about this new normal. We're thinking about post-COVID and the actions are being done. I feel like that's very, very interesting. Now, you mentioned it there, and there is a lot of talk, isn't there, about this hybrid model post-COVID in regards to how people are going to work. Some people have loved working from home. Other people cannot wait to get back into the office, store, or perhaps bank branch. But what do you think things will be like going forward post-COVID? What things will you be keeping? What things will you be returning back to?
So, I can speak sort of broadly on this. We're thinking about what our particular position will be. But as we look at industry research, as we look at our own experiences, certainly we have learned that we're much more flexible than we knew that we were. We did not have a lot of people working remotely prior to COVID. Now we have our branches staffed, but in terms of our people that the rest of the people in the bank that are not customer facing in that way. Approximately 90% of those people are working remotely and getting the job done. We've run the bank successfully this year. So, so we're looking at what is the new normal or the next normal, and do people need to be in the office every day? I think there are counter arguments that we're debating and other companies are debating. One of the things that we've always had a very strong culture, a very close-knit culture based on working closely together. I think that that's an important part of our business, and I don't think that we're going to give that up. But I do think that businesses have learned that we will perhaps come back to the office in different ways, in more collaborative and kind of agile ways, the way that we've transformed technology and worked in more agile ways with teams coming together. We may opt to do that. Companies may opt to kind of apply those principles to other aspects of their business. So I think that all in all, this is going to lead to just more flexibility in the workplace. Some companies will choose to be all remote. I don't think that's going to be necessarily what we're going to do, but I do think that we've learned that we can get our work done in new ways, and we're going to see how we can incorporate some of those lessons in our future work models.
Absolutely. And I mean, as I said there in the show introduction, 2020 really was just a year that was like no other. Do you think it almost offers up that opportunity to really force innovation? Because I don't expect you would have gone remote working or partly remote working prior to this, because it was largely taken out of your hands. So do you think it's created an environment where you can innovate and transform in different directions that perhaps you wouldn't have explored previously?
Yes, which I suppose that's the reason I'm a mother. Necessity is the mother of invention. So I think that we've been able to accelerate things that we've always wanted to do, and this gave us the need to do things faster. And I think that it's shown that we can do that. The collective we can do things faster, whether it's rolling out digital capabilities, whether it's developing a vaccine. That's based on new science, new ways of applying science to vaccines, for example. So I think that we're all learning what's possible. When you're in these situations, we're all, challenged to rise to the occasion and do things that we didn't think we knew we could do. And so in that, I think that we all, when I say we, I'm not talking about our company alone, we've all learned that we are more flexible, we're more capable, we're more nimble, we're more adaptive than perhaps any of us believed that we were.
Brilliant. And my last question to you, Allison, before I let you go today. Any frequent audience members of the Business of Data show know that I'm always keen to ask advice from our thought leaders, because I feel like our audience benefit from it. So looking ahead in 2021, what would you say is the biggest piece of advice you can give for being data-driven in a post-COVID-19 world, looking towards this new normal or next normal? What would be the piece of advice you'd share to other thought leaders?
I think the new skill post-COVID and during COVID, but post-COVID is going to be flexible and adaptive. I think what this year has shown us is that it's not the things that we expected would happen that are going to be what disrupt our business. It's going to be things that we didn't expect were coming. And I think being able to pivot on a dime, being able to redirect, being able to reapply your resources to the problem at hand, being able to serve customers in new ways, being flexible, being fast. Those are things that are going to be at a premium. I think we've learned that, and I don't think that's going to change.
Brilliant. Allison, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Thank you.
Now, sadly, that is all the time we have today, but what a brilliant episode. What I really found of interest was just the absolute scale of innovation that was on offer just from those two companies alone. So we can only imagine the fantastic things that have happened in all of the data and analytics departments for the various organisations that we have within our Business of Data community. Thank you again to both of those thought leaders for their contributions. Now, next time we'll be talking all about tangible value in data and analytics. Just as we've done this time, we'll be joined by expert thought leaders to help us dive deep into the challenges and opportunities. Now, be sure to subscribe to our Business of Data YouTube channel, follow our page on LinkedIn, and of course, pop over and visit us at the Business of Data platform as well for more great content, insights and connections. As always, stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you next time.